The plasma doors slammed open. Alarms howled. A human in outdated armor was thrown across the obsidian floor like scrap metal. He rolled once, stopped, rose. The court of Varelia laughed. The alien queen didn't look up at first. She was busy, watching holograms of burning moons, troop movements, wars that would decide galaxies. A human guard collapsing at her feet was background noise. Again. She said coldly, "Is this relic still malfunctioning?" Laughter echoed higher. His armor was old, too thick, too slow, built for kinetic wars, not plasma ballets. Bronze scratches ran across it like scars on a fossil. The courtiers mocked openly now. 6 months of daily entertainment had trained them well. Primitive joints. Outdated seals. Look, he still bleeds red. The queen finally turned. Her eyes were crystalline. Perfect. Untouched by war. "Human," she said. "Explain why my palace alarms triggered." Again. He stood straight. No apology. No excuse. "Hostile drone breach," he said. Voice steady. Flat. Neutralized. A pause. The court snickered. One noble flicked open a holo feed. A shattered assassin drone spun slowly in vacuum outside the palace shield. Silence crept in. Then laughter returned, louder. A single drone. The queen said, amused, "We have shields for that." "Yes," the human replied. "They failed." That earned more laughs. 6 months. For 6 months, she had mocked him, his armor, his stance, his silence. For 6 months, he had stood behind her throne while energy blades flashed and alien. Champions sparred, while poets joked about museum soldiers and meat bodyguards. He never reacted. That was the part she hated. The queen rose from her throne, descending the steps slowly, circling him like a predator that already owned the kill. "You humans," she said, voice sharp with boredom, "hide behind metal because you are fragile." Her finger tapped his chest plate. "Remove this relic," she commanded. "Show the court what weakness looks like." The room held its breath. This was new. He didn't answer immediately. Then, click. A seal disengaged. Another. The courtiers leaned forward. The armor began to come apart. Not ripped off. Not thrown down. Removed, piece by piece. The first plate fell. Then the second. And beneath it, scars, burn lines, shrapnel grooves, regenerated flesh stitched poorly over old wounds, symbols carved into skin by enemies who hadn't survived long enough to explain why. The laughter died mid-breath. The queen's amusement faltered. He removed the final piece, letting it drop with a heavy echo across the hall. Bare, scarred, unbowed. He looked at her once. No hatred, no pride, just exhaustion. Then he turned and walked away. No permission, no farewell. The doors began to close behind him. And for the first time, the alien queen felt something she didn't recognize. Something began. The doors sealed shut behind the human. The court didn't breathe. The alien queen remained still, fingers clenched against the arm of her throne. The silence stretched, unnatural, uncomfortable, dangerous. Then whispers began. He disobeyed. He exposed himself. He walked away. A crime. A spectacle. A mystery. "Find him," the queen said softly. That softness scared them more than rage. Guards scattered. Sensors flared to life. Drones swept corridors, thermal nets activating. A human without armor couldn't go far. Or so they believed. Minutes passed. No signal. No heat signature. No trace. "He should be bleeding," a noble muttered. "Those scars, he's barely functional." The queen didn't answer. She replayed the image in her mind. The scars hadn't been random. They were layered. Healed. Reopened. Healed again. Each one a chapter, not an accident. Something about that disturbed her. A warning chime rang. "Report," she snapped. A tactical officer swallowed. "Your Majesty, the perimeter watch is offline." Another alert. External sensors, disabled. Another. Palace shield recalibration. Manual override. The court erupted. That's impossible. He doesn't know our systems. He's human. The Queen stood. He was silent for 6 months, she said. That doesn't mean he was ignorant. The holomap flickered. Red markers appeared. Maintenance shafts, blind corridors. Emergency routes long forgotten because no one had used them in centuries. Someone had mapped the palace. Carefully. Patiently. A new feed opened. A security drone's final recording. The image shook violently. Metal screamed. Then, darkness. Audio survived. Breathing. Slow. Controlled. Then the human's voice, barely louder than a whisper. You should have stayed quiet. The feed cut. Fear crept in. The Queen moved toward the army, her court scrambling behind her. Why didn't he kill anyone? A noble asked. She paused. Because, she said slowly, realization forming, this isn't escape. The armory doors slid open. Empty. Weapon rack stripped clean. Not plasma blades, not disruptors. Only kinetic weapons were gone. Old ones. Human ones. A final message pinged onto the central display. Text only. No signature. Next, you taught me how your world laughs. Now, you will learn how mine survives. The Queen felt it then. Not fear. Not anger. Anticipation. For the first time in her reign, the galaxy wasn't bending around her will. It was moving toward her. And somewhere in the depths of her own palace, the human hunt continued. The lights went out. Not flickered. Not dimmed. Gone. Emergency red flooded the corridors like blood. The alien Queen stopped walking. Her guards tightened formation, energy spears humming, shields blooming alive. This palace had survived supernovas and coups. Darkness wasn't supposed to scare it. But this darkness moved. A scream echoed from the east wing. Then another, cut short. No plasma discharge. No thermal spike. Just silence. He's unarmed, someone whispered. The Queen corrected them. No. He's prepared. The palace AI stuttered. Navigation loops began. Corridors led back to themselves. Doors sealed, then opened onto empty shafts. Someone was rewriting logic. Human logic, brutal and direct. A guard stepped forward. The floor gave way. He vanished without a sound. The Queen watched the drop for half a second too long. That shaft hadn't existed yesterday. It had been built overnight. Your Majesty, the tactical officer said. Voice shaking, he's not attacking command nodes. Then what is he doing? She asked. The answer arrived immediately. The court chamber exploded inward. Not with fire. With force. A kinetic charge ripped through ornamental alloy like paper. Columns collapsed. Courtiers scattered. Screaming as centuries of untouchable arrogance fell in chunks. Smoke rolled. Footsteps followed. Slow. Measured. The humans stepped through the dust. No armor. Bare arms. Scars revealed fully now. Chemical burns. Blade lines. Impact fractures that never healed straight. His eyes scanned the room the way soldiers scan battlefields. Without emotion. Without hurry. Weapons rose. He raised one hand. A small device clicked. Gravity spiked. Guards slammed into the floor. Armor screaming as internal systems crushed them from the inside. Energy shields collapsed. Designed for plasma, not physics. The Queen stood alone. Their eyes met. You had 6 months to kill me, she said. Yes, he replied. I was learning. He gestured to the shattered chamber. You laugh while protected, he continued. You've never fought when the walls fail. She circled him, slow, careful. What are you? She asked. An assassin. A rebel. He shook his head once. I'm what you hire when gods start dying. The device clicked again. The gravity normalized. He turned his back on her. Again. And walked past. Next, he said over his shoulder, I leave the palace. Her voice cut through the smoke. And if I stop you? He paused. Just long enough. Then, he said quietly, I remove the rest. The meaning landed. Not her throne. Not her court. Her world. He disappeared into the collapsing corridors. The palace burned behind him. The alien queen didn't order pursuit. For the first time, she understood. The human had never been her guard. He had been a warning. The palace didn't fall. It learned. Emergency bulkheads sealed. Fires were contained. Systems rebooted in fractured layers. The queen stood amid wreckage, smoke curling around her crown, listening to reports that didn't make sense. No casualties in civilian districts. Power. Rerouted. Stabilized. External fleets. Standing down. She frowned. He didn't destroy, she said. He corrected. A final alert chimed. Deep space sensors reawakened. Something massive had exited the system. No warp flare, no signature bloom. Just absence, like a wound in reality stitched closed. A human exit. The queen moved alone now, descending into the lowest chamber of the palace, a place no courtier ever saw. The archive of first contacts. Dusty. Ignored. Full. Of warnings no empire liked to read twice. A new file revealed itself. Unlocked. Human origin encryption. Title. Scar Doctrine. She opened it. Not a threat. Not a manifesto. A record. Footage rolled. Human colonies burning. Children dragged from shelters. Worlds glassed by species that laughed, just like her court had laughed. Then humans adapting. Armor thickening. Tactics changing. Bodies breaking, and continuing anyway. The file ended with a single line. Humans don't conquer first. They endure. Then they remove what keeps hurting them. The queen closed the archive slowly. For the first time in centuries, she issued a galaxy-wide broadcast. Not a declaration of war. A warning. To all courts, she said, voice steady, do not mock human relics. Do not test their silence. If one stands behind your throne without complaint, ask why. Across the stars, diplomats froze. Admirals reconsidered. Empires recalculated. Far beyond known lanes, a human ship drifted through dark space. Inside, the man cleaned his scars carefully. Not out of pride. Out of habit. A new armor rested nearby. Not metal, not heavy. Just enough. A transmission pinged. Unknown origin. Alien Queen's signature. You could have ruled here. Why walk away? He didn't answer immediately. Then he sent one line back. Rule is loud. Survival is quiet. You're welcome for the lesson. The channel closed. He looked out at the stars. Somewhere, another court would laugh. Another throne would feel untouchable. And one day, a human would stand there. Silent. Waiting. End.